As some of you know I've met some of you in this meeting. My name is Maggie. I'm the Director of Client Relations and Growth here at ThunderTix, and I'll let my co-host introduce himself.
Hi, welcome everyone. I'm Chris. I am on the support team, and thank you for attending the webinar today.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, so again, really happy to have you here today. Thank you for joining. We're going to be talking about Flex Passes today, which is one of my favorite features. I think it's a more complex feature, but if you use it right and you market it right, it can really benefit you. Before we get into the details, I do want to list out some housekeeping rules for our webinars. First things first, we will go through all of the content first, and then we will open up for a QA at the end of the webinar. So feel free to put your questions in the Q&A section, but just keep in mind we won't be answering them until the very end. We'll have, as long of a Q&A as you guys need to get all your questions answered. So just a little heads up there. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so Flex Passes. As some of you know, Flex Passes are one of the most effective ways for performing arts organizations to create predictable revenue while also giving your patrons more flexibility. That's the whole point of Flex Passes is flexibility and convenience. So instead of committing to fixed dates, your guests will purchase a package of tickets that they can use throughout the season on performances that really fit into their schedule. So, you think of certain demographics like families or, elderly folks that may appreciate some of this flexibility. At the same time, I taught a packages webinar in the last couple of weeks. It does provide all of the same kind of benefits, right? You have upfront cash flow, sometimes prior to your individual events going on sale. You can encourage repeat attendance. A lot of these patrons are investing, in your theater by creating or by purchasing a Flex Pass in advance that they can then use. Most people will use them. And you can build like long-term relationships with your audience. So lots of benefits there. Again, all of those things while providing flexibility for people. So first things first, when you log into ThunderTix, you always show up, on your event manager here. The first thing that you have to do to build any sort of package, including a Flex Pass, is create your individual events. So to get there, you're going to go again into events and your event manager here on your side menu, and you're going to click this green create event button. Now, I'm not going to go through and create these individual events today, but if you did need any assistance creating those events, there's a few things you can do to get support from ThunderTix. The first thing, which is a newer feature of ours, is this blue bubble in the bottom right corner. This is our chatbot. It's called Bolt, and you can ask Bolt any questions regarding packages, regarding Flex Passes, or regarding building your events. It's a very helpful tool if you want quick answers, and generally, it's pretty on point. So you're welcome to use that. You can also reach out to the support team by submitting a support request. And I'm sure a lot of you have chatted with Chris in the past, but we have a support team that will help you with any questions you have. So again, first things first, let's create those individual events. Once you have those individual events created that you want a part of your FlexPass package, we're going to go again into this events dropdown and click on your package manager. So once you click on your package manager to create a new package, you're just going to click this green button, create package. Upon doing so, you're going to be queued to fill out a few things here. The first thing, your name, your description, and your picture. Keep in mind on your public facing site, all of this is going to be displayed. So we do highly recommend putting a picture there. Let's go down to selection method. So just like any other package, you have two options. You can do a pick any package in which you have a list of events. It could be 12 events. Of those 12 events, you give your patrons the flexibility to pick a minimum or maximum number of events out of those 12. So you're not forcing your patrons to pick, a performance from all 12 of those events. You give them the flexibility to pick a few in your package. Now we have the pick all package, which is what I just described. If I have 4 events and you have a pick all package, I'm forcing my patrons to pick one event from or one performance from each of the events that I have in my package. Now, Flex Passes change this just a little bit, right? because we're going to still have these package titles, but again, Flex Passes are going to send out a code to your patrons. They're not immediately going to select which performances or which events they want. So, first things first, we're going to build out a pick all package with a Flex Pass, and we'll go over a few options there. Next thing here, we're going to select our events or ticket types. Now, you'll see this option right at the top here that you can toggle on. It says select performances or ticket types for Flex Passes. The nice thing about Flex Passes is that you can make this Flex Pass code specific to performances or ticket types. We're not going to do this in this Flex Pass, but we will do it in our next one so you can kind of see what that looks like in some examples. But first, we're just going to select a few of our events here for our pick all package. The next thing we have is ticket delivery. Like we talked about in the last couple of weeks, we have our subscription package. That's when your patrons are going to immediately pick the events and performances that they want in their package. And you'll see here what we're talking about today, our Flex Pass option. This is where your patrons are going to be able to obtain their tickets at a later time with a voucher code. So we'll go ahead and click on this. Now, upon clicking on this, you'll see that we have a few options for Flex Passes. The first one is our standard use option. This means that for every event in my pick all package, I'm going to have one flex code per event. Now, what that also means is that I cannot use two of those FlexPass codes for the same event. In some ways, I'm restricting that FlexPass usage to one FlexPass per event. Now, I also have a limited use FlexPass. This is very similar to your standard use, except in the standard use, you're automatically going to have one FlexPass per event. Limited use, I can limit the number of codes that a person has. So if I only wanted that person to have two redemptions and I have four events in my FlexPass package, then I have two codes that I can choose to use on which events I want. Finally, we have a punch card option. This is an option where you'll get X amount of redemptions, and those patrons can use those redemptions for any any events or performances that they want. Meaning that a patron could select all four FlexPass codes for the same event. Now, with my pick all package, the standard use FlexPass is what I'm going to be using because, again, we're restricting people to purchase one performance per event. So, again, if I go up into my events, my standard means I get a FlexPass code here, I get a FlexPass code here, a code here, and a code here. My limited option means that if I have two redemptions, I get to choose to use that redemption here or here or here or here, but I only get two. And keep in mind that limited pass means that I cannot use both of those two redemption codes on the same event. Or I have my punch card, meaning I could use all four redemptions for Beyond the Stage. I could use two for this, one for this, and one for this. Again, I can mix all of those FlexPass codes. So for our first pick all package, we're going to do our standard use FlexPass, and we'll go ahead and go through this. Now, right under these options, you're going to see we have our email subject line. Every time someone purchases a package from you, they're going to receive a confirmation email. This is the area where you can customize that email. So I put a small email header, a small email footer. You don't have to put these in, but it's nice to customize it if you'd like to. And then we have our package sponsor image. If you had a sponsor, you could always put an image there. Now here we have our pricing. Keep in mind for typical packages, you will have a bundled discount option because for Flex Passes, we don't know exactly which events or performances that person is going to choose. The only pricing option you have is a package ticket. A package ticket is when I bundle all these events together, I'm naming one price for those events. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my package ticket. We'll just name it our FlexPass ticket. For all four events, I'm going to bundle this into a $100 ticket. Now, keep in mind that the price you set here is also going to be reflected in your settlement reports. And I'm going to show you that at a later time, but just keep that in mind as we continue through the webinar. And then we have additional options. We can set an activation date, an expiration date. We can limit the number of packages someone can purchase in one order. We can accept donations with this package, and I can select a fundraising campaign to attach to said package. And I can select a survey upon purchase. Now, we also have public access types. This is very similar to when you build out your events. Do I want a public event in which everyone from the public can purchase this package? Do I want a semi-private package in which only my select people who have a special link can purchase the package? Or do I want to make it private in which only box office staff from the internal ThunderTix view can sell the packages? So again, all of this is very similar to kind of your event build. Lastly, we have shipping and fees. Now, we have this option here, allow patrons who purchase this package to perform exchanges free of fees. That means that when they make those exchanges, the credit card fee, the ticketing fee is not going to carry over into those exchanges. Keep in mind, we do not charge a ticketing fee for exchanges. So this might be a good option. If you don't select this, then fees will show up, upon the exchange. So just a really good thing to kind of be aware of there. You can add a ticketing fee here. Now, a really good thing to know about Flex Passes, when you sell a Flex Pass, ThunderTix charges the ticketing fee for each ticket associated with that Flex Pass upon the Flex Pass purchase. You are not charged the ticketing fee upon Flex Pass redemption. So when a patron purchases this Flex Pass, that is when you get charged the ThunderTix ticketing fee. So really kind of good thing to know there. When you're setting up your fees, you want to be conscious of that. And then you can obviously add a shipping option there, if you'd like to. We'll go ahead and click finish and create our package here. Okay, so we have successfully created our package. Let's go ahead and sell a package from the venue admin side, internal ThunderTix, and from our public facing view so you can kind of see how this is set up. So to sell from the venue admin side, we're going to go ahead and click on this green sell button. And you can see here, right here, you're going to see the included events. So I have my 4 events that are included in the Flex Pass, and I can go ahead and select the number of tickets that I want to purchase. Again, I have my survey here. I have my donation or fundraising campaign that people can contribute to as well. We'll go ahead and click continue. And you can see we're at the checkout screen where someone can purchase this Flex Pass. Again, the whole point of a Flex Pass is that the person is not actually getting their tickets right now. They're just purchasing the package and getting their redemption code for them to, purchase tickets at a later time. So let's go ahead and we'll pay cash for this. We'll fill out the section here. We'll do a quick checkout. Now, if I click into my order here, what you're going to see is every time someone purchases a FlexPass, a new order is going to be generated with the revenue associated with that FlexPass. You're also going to see the code associated with that FlexPass. Right now, we have not redeemed any of these FlexPass codes, so you're going to see no redemptions. What I'll show you is if somebody redeems a FlexPass code, a new order is generated and those orders will be listed here on this original order. So I'm going to show that to you at a later time, but just to let you know, that's how that's going to function. Now let's go to our public facing view. And so you can see, how to purchase a package here. So we'll go into our event packages. You can see again, my description here, my photo, my included events down here, and I'll go ahead and click select. And here we are. Again, I can select the number of, oops, we're not going to do 10. We'll just do 1, the number of FlexPass tickets, and same concept. You can see the survey and the fundraising campaign that I'd like people to donate to. We'll click continue. And you can see, same concept. You have the Spotlight Series Pass. I have my Flex Pass ticket, and I can go ahead and check out that way. Now, before we get into the confirmation emails, how your patrons are going to, redeem these Flex Passes, I do want to build out one more style of Flex Pass so you can kind of see the different options that you have available. So we'll go ahead and click out of this and go back into our Flex Passes here. So again, to build a new Flex Pass, we're going to go into Events and to our Package Manager here. And you're going to click this green Create Package button, which is going to bring us into the screen. So let's say we want to build something a little more specific. In my first package, I just attached a few events. I had my pick all package. So, I was forcing someone to redeem a flex pass code for each one of these events. But say I want it to be more specific. So, for example, let's say at my venue, I host the same show Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night every month, right? But let's say my Saturday and Sunday shows sell out really quickly. It's pretty easy to sell them, but my Friday shows may need a little assistance. Well, I can create a Flex Pass package at a discounted rate for only those Friday dates. This is where we're going to get into, specifying Flex Passes by performance or by ticket type. Another example of this is, let's say I want to create a Flex Pass only for my seniors, and I have a senior ticket type on all of my events. So I can specify that I only want this Flex Pass to work when somebody selects a senior ticket. So let's go ahead and build that specific case. So you can see again, I name my Flex Pass, have a description and photo. We're going to go ahead and do a pick any package. Again, this is going to allow us to build a punch card in which somebody can use those flex passes on any of the performances and events that I include, any amount of times for each performance. So again, if I have 4 redemptions, I could use all 4 for the same exact event if I wanted to. So we're going to say pick at least 2 events. Now, this is where I'm going to be able to specify that I want a specific ticket type. So we're going to toggle this on. And what's going to happen is you're going to see all of my events populate, but you're going to see these green plus marks. So if I click on this, one, I can select which performances I want to be associated with my FlexPass, or I can go a step further and I can select which ticket types from each performance that I want included in my FlexPass. So I'm going to go ahead and go through and select all of my adult Flex Passes here, or ticket types, for a few of these shows. So again, you really have to click into each performance because think about it, each performance can sometimes have different ticket types. So we did build it that way. You'll have to click through and select each one. Let's see, we'll do 1 or 2 more here. Ticket types. You know what? I just realized I'm selecting adult for all these. Let's go back through and select senior instead for my package. Sorry, y'all. Here we go. We'll select senior. And again, I can market this as a package for my senior patrons. We'll do a quick click through here. Okay. So you can see I have specified this FlexPass. If I go in to this specific event and time and I try to use this FlexPass code on an adult ticket, it will not work. It's only going to work for these specific ticket types. Similarly, if I select specific performances, I have my Thursday, October 8th, but not my October 15th, it will not work for the 15th. Ticket delivery, again, you'll see that your punch card is filled out. I have 2 redemptions. Again, I could set this at 3 or 4 redemptions if I wanted to, increase the number of redemptions that person had for my, tickets and performances. Customize my email. We can skip through a lot of this. Again, I'm going to set my package ticket. We'll set it at $100 again. And just like we went through, you have your additional options here and your shipping and your fees. So let's go ahead and click finish here. And we're going to sell one of these flex passes, again, on the internal venue admin side and also on your public facing view. So internal venue admin side, we'll click the sell button here. Now, for these specific flex passes, you're going to see all of the options that your patrons have available for these flex passes. So I have my event, I have my performance, and I have my eligible ticket types. So this really, specifies what your patrons will have available. And it's built that way. So let's go ahead and select the number of flex passes I want. We'll click continue. And here I am at the checkout screen where we'll do a quick checkout here for our FlexPass. Now, same concept. If I click to view my order, you're going to see I have my FlexPass code and I have the redemptions listed here. Your patrons are going to see the list of available packages, or sorry, events, performances, and ticket types. So they'll be able to kind of see that listed out there when that's available. Okay, so now that we've seen our two packages created and kind of the different options that you have, the next thing to explore is, well, okay, my patrons purchased this Flex Pass. The next thing I need to do is teach them how to actually redeem the codes that they have to make sure they're able to use it, to make sure it's easy for them to use it. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to click back into our order here. Now, again, every time someone purchases a FlexPass, they're going to receive a confirmation email. So let's go ahead and pull up that confirmation email. Okay. So anytime someone purchases, again, they're going to get this confirmation with the price that they paid. And then this is the most important section that you can guide your patrons to. It says redeem the following coupon codes for the events listed below. So I have my included events here. And then you'll see that this code is linked. When someone clicks on this linked code, it's really the first way that they're going to be able to redeem their codes. And it's an easier way to do it. The last thing we want is people copying and pasting this code because we all know that gets complicated for people. So let's go ahead and click into this here. And you can see above, you have applied X voucher code. So for any events that I have included in that code, I'm going to be able to click through and have that voucher code automatically applied. So let's go ahead and get a ticket going here. Again, I didn't specify this FlexPass. This is my first FlexPass by ticket type. So I can select any ticket type and it's going to be applicable here. I'll click continue. And you can see upon checkout, this voucher code is already applied to the order. So a really easy way to kind of teach your patrons, this is how you can apply these codes quickly and easily. Now, another way you can do this, as we all know, some people lose their confirmation emails. That can be problematic, so how else do we, get them to use their codes? So if we go back in and again, select a seat, select a ticket type, the other thing you can teach your patrons to do is type in their email address here. If I type in my email address, you're going to see that any flex passes that I have available to me will populate here for me to apply. My account has a few different flex passes, but if they just had one, there would just be one code that pops up here. So we can go ahead and apply this code. And you'll see again, I already applied this code to one order, so that's why you're seeing that. But the code gets automatically applied to your order. So these are the two ways that, your flex passes are going to populate, that your patrons can use these flex passes. And again, we want it to be as easy as possible for people. So as long as you teach your people to, your patrons to put their email here, it makes it a lot easier. Now, I did want to show you the confirmation email for my other style of Flex Pass. This was my Encore Senior Pass, again, senior ticket types. And you'll see this one is a little bit longer because I have quite a few events and quite a few eligible performances and ticket types for this. So again, if I go through, which I know we are having problems seeing this, so we'll see if this works, but I can click buy tickets. I can select again, remember my senior ticket, click continue, and that FlexPass code is going to be automatically applied. No payment is going to be due. So those are the different ways you can teach your patrons on, how to apply these FlexPass codes. Now, beyond the confirmation email, another, thing that people run into is, well, how do I see, which FlexPass codes I've already used for which events? Sometimes it's hard to remember that stuff. So what we did is on our public facing site, at the very bottom here, you can teach your patrons to click on this link. It says check redemption balance. Now, this is going to allow your patrons to check, again, which flex passes they've used, which ones they haven't used, how many have been redeemed, how many they have remaining. So you can see for all of these, I can see I have redeemed one code for Murder at Blackwell Manor. I have three remaining. And you can send an email that's going to send a Flex Pass redemption report to this patron. So they can go ahead and click send email. And if I pull my email back up, I'm going to have a Flex Pass redemption report. This is going to allow them to see, again, the events they have listed here, which event they have redeemed, which ones they haven't redeemed, how many they have remaining, the voucher code, etc. As a lot of ThunderTix is not one of those platforms where people have a login. We actually prefer it that way, but we did want people to have access to their, FlexPass redemption code information to make it a little bit easier for them to visualize this. So again, if you're going to teach your patrons, a couple of things about Flex Passes, there would be three things I would recommend. One, you can redeem your Flex Pass by clicking the link in your confirmation email. Two, you can enter your email at checkout for those Flex Pass codes to pop up automatically. And three, you can find a redemption report to send to yourself on the public facing site at the bottom where it says check redemptions. So, really kind of good things to know here. Now, we're going to go ahead on the internal facing view. We're going to click out of these, and I'm going to actually redeem one of these Flex Passes. So, if I go into my event manager here, and this is again the internal facing view, I can click on one of my events and sell a ticket here. And just sell one adult ticket. And again, if I type in this email address, you're going to see this box pop up, same concept on your internal facing view, and I can apply the flex code. This is really nice. So if that person has a cart order with multiple events that has this flex code, that could be an option. Let's say I had all four of my events and wanted to purchase them all at the same time, with the same flex pass. This is going to show up on the internal facing view. This will also populate on the public facing view as long as they have multiple items in their cart. It'll just apply it to all of the ones that are applicable. So we'll go ahead and click yes here. And you can see my coupon has been successfully applied and no payment is due. I'm not sure why this error message is popping up, but we're going to look into that. And then we can go ahead and process the order. Now, once I have redeemed this FlexPass code, we can go ahead and click into my order here. And you can see the coupons I have applied. So you can see I have this FlexPass code here. Now, one really good thing to know is that this is a clickable link here that's going to bring you back into your original order. So you can see each time my FlexPass code is redeemed, a new order will populate here. So I can go ahead and click into this, and you'll see it brings me back into my original order, and I can also see where this FlexPass code has been redeemed. So it's a really, good thing to know if your patron is confused, not sure how many redemptions they have, they don't want to use our redemption report. You can kind of do some research here based on your redemptions here. If you were to release or refund one of these tickets, then the order would be removed from here and you would get another redemption. So it resets the redemptions, if that ticket is released back into inventory. So kind of good things to know there. Okay, so the very last thing I have to talk about is reporting. So we recently added a feature in which Any redeemed Flex Passes are now going to populate on your settlement reports. So if I click into one of my settlement reports here, now keep in mind, these will only show up on your settlement report if the Flex Pass was actually used and redeemed. Somebody purchasing a Flex Pass for potential events that have not redeemed their Flex Passes are not going to show up here. Only the revenue from a redeemed Flex Pass is going to populate here. So, for example, I set my package ticket rate at $100 for this FlexPass package, and I did a choose all package in which four of those events were included. So, when one of my Flex Passes was redeemed, you can see it added this to my total tickets and it was redeemed for $25. It evenly splits the Flex Pass value of how many events are being redeemed into your settlement report. Now, keep in mind here, I wanted to isolate this so you can kind of see these numbers here. Your total individual tickets will still show up here if I had adult, senior, child, those would populate here. But those are not going to include your FlexPass tickets. Your FlexPass tickets will populate separately down here. So you can easily see here were my individual tickets sales, here are my FlexPass sales, etc. So that's a settlement report. Now, there's a few other reports to note here. If I go back into events and my package manager, there is this drop down on the far right side. You'll see we have a reports column. If I click into this drop down, you're going to see three important reports here. One, for any FlexPass package, we have a redemption report. This is going to show you the FlexPass code, what event it was redeemed into, and the value associated. So this is a really good report to know about if you did want to see, how many FlexPasses were actually redeemed within your FlexPass purchase. Now we have our package tickets report. We talked about this a little last week. This is just going to show, again, all of the tickets you have associated with every single package line by line. So it's not going to show you one package, one package. It's going to show you here are all of the tickets within one package. So you'll see bundles of the same order over and over again. And then, of course, we can always view our orders for our packages and we can, export these orders or, filter them with all of these filters here. This is also where you can, again, search for these orders if you needed to. Now, the orders that will populate here, if I click into this, are going to be the actual FlexPass ticket orders, not your redemptions. So kind of a good thing to know there. But again, you can always access your redemptions through this order screen of the original purchase here. Okay, so that concludes my FlexPass webinar. Well, thank you everyone so much for coming. Please let me know if you have any questions about the FlexPasses. I'm happy to assist. And obviously, Chris is here too. Reach out to us on support. And yeah, I hope everyone has a fabulous rest of your day.